Alright, I'm Sovereign Sage, and welcome to the Sen No Rikyu translation video. So, what I'm going to be doing is going through Sen No Rikyu's moves and translating them as I go. So, let's go ahead and do that. So, Sen No Rikyu's character image phrase. In English, it is Sombre, Rustic beauty, and in Japanese, it is Wabi Sabi. His Giga Basara title is T-Saint. His Giga Basara Artwork Image is two infants to represent his duality surrounded by morning glories. His Seiyuu, or voice actor, is Takahiro Sakurai, and his weapon is folding fans, or Sensu, and psychic powers. It's like his abilities. His element is Kan, which is feeling. He's one of the characters that has a unique element in the game compared to other characters who have like ice, fire, wind, or lightning. I was going to say thunder. Thunder or lightning. He's one of the few characters that has like a whole different element, which is called Kan, which means feeling. And it's totally different. Okay, moving on to his standard moves here. Again, his personal description, I don't actually have it for him, but I can tell you what it is. It's called Vessel Strength. Basically what it does is the number of enemies that can be drawn in is doubled, and his range becomes wider. His duration is also extended, and locked on enemies grant a +2 hit count for those that are locked on. That's what his personal description does. Okay. He has two different personalities, and it's really hard to kind of explain them. I guess his Wabisuke personality is more gentle, and his Sabisuke personality is more aggressive. He can switch between each one of them depending on buttons that you push. This is where it kind of gets a little complicated. He's also a psychic, so he can tell things about people or knows the future. Like, somebody who has psychic abilities, they know things before they happen, they know things about people upon meeting them, and all kinds of other nonsense. So he's not like Tsuruhime, who's actually an oracle, where she gets her readings from heaven, and based on who she's doing a reading on. She can do a reading on anybody and basically glimpse their future, like things that haven't happened yet. I think he can kind of maybe do the same. It's never really said. It's not like it's super important, but I just thought I'd throw that out there, that he's a psychic, which is why I guess a lot of his moves have to do with like him pushing and moving wind like he's an airbender. And I guess him doing all of that ties into his psychic powers. Great. Anyway, so his hold square, I believe in English it is called Etiquette, and in Japanese it's either Temae or Temae, because it's T-E-M-A-E, so it's Mai, like maybe Temae or Temae. They always say these words differently, and it's not like I'm super fluent in Japanese. I can't really tell you how it would be said. To me it looks like it would be Temae, but it's probably Temae. Anyway, so basically he strikes the ground in front of him, and he can cause enemies to kind of like float into the air, you know, like they're ready to be locked onto and stuff. I'm not near enemies, as I always clip the character out of bound to do these types of videos, so I would have to tell you what all of the moves are and then go back onto the stage and actually be able to show them. So I'm out of bounds here on the water. Water is very spiritual to me. I like water a lot. So basically if you hold square, kind of gets down and then he kind of go into the air, and he kind of does that again. There will be characters in front of him, so the moment he goes down and a circle forms, it launches them in the air, and then I believe if you hold it down, let me see, if I just push it once, he just starts doing normal attacks. So that's why it's hold. I think if you hold it, he kind of goes into the air by himself. His skill revision kind of ties into what that move actually looks like. His skill revision isn't translated, and it's underneath L1 plus triangle right in here, where the red part where it says L1 plus square. I don't actually know what it is called. I can't actually tell you, but I can show you what it is. So his L1 plus square is this. It's very similar. Very, very similar. As you can see here, with you hold square, he goes up in the air, and then you can hit L1 plus square again, which causes him to launch it. But yeah, his L1 plus square is his skill revision, though it is all based on which personality he's wielding. As you can see, I'm having trouble with it here. Because he has two different personalities. His L1 plus square is really hard to pull off to get him to go up into the air, because depending on what personality you have, I believe this is Wabisuke. He kind of reminds me of like Liu Shan. So he has his hair pulled up. He's like the gentler version. So I believe if you're playing with this personality, if you had switched it and then you hit it, he kind of goes up into the air and does like a thing. But now when the hair is out, like it is right now, this is the other personality. So this is Sabisuke. He's the more violent, aggressive one. So you can tell which personality he has based on the hair switch, which I guess is kind of neat. Moving on to his triangle move, though. So his triangle move is called Floating Leaves, which is called Ukiha. Again, this is all tied into which personality he is using. It's Wabisuke for this. Again, triangle like this. So Sabisuke, he kind of turns the fans and wiggles them in front of him, almost as to mock his enemies. And then this one, Wabisuke turns his back on the enemies instead. So he kind of turns his back and holds the fans away from him. As you can see here, he holds the fans away and turns his back on them, and it kind of blows them away. So he looks away from them, as where with the other personality, he doesn't. So now that I've turned him into Sabisuke, if I hit his triangle button again, he'll hold the fans in front of him as to mock people. Like, it's really hard to get the personalities to stay. There's not really like a style change, like a button to get you to switch between the two. But basically, all of his attacks change based on which one of him you are using. Hair up, his attacks are different. Hair down, the attacks are different again. It's all based on personalities, and it can be really complicated to get it to work correctly. To get which personality you want. You just have to kind of play around with it. I notice if you just hit triangle normally to spin in the air like this, it will always turn him into Sabisuke, always. So that's one way to kind of get the personalities to change. But this is what triangle does. He kind of just looks away. I showed it earlier with Sabisuke where he kind of wiggles the fans in front of him like, haha, I kill you. There you go. I guess if you hold it. See, this is the other version. So this is Wabisuke, and then Sabisuke, he wiggles one fan. It's really hard to do. Like I said, he has two different personalities, and the attacks change based on which one you're wielding or playing as. I believe if you just keep tapping square, it causes him to switch, or triangle, for a second there. I notice if I pull back on the joystick and then hit triangle, it gets him to switch to the other side. Because I have him closer to the wall, my controls are reversed. There we go. So yeah, he wiggles one fan. So yeah, it's all kind of hard to do. I kind of figured trying to do a moveset cover for him was going to be difficult, as it normally always is. It was like that for some other characters like Hanbei, because he has a whip sword. You have a moveset for the whip and a moveset for the sword, and based on the way you hit the buttons, it would cause it to change from one to the other. And he's one of those characters that's going to be a little tough for you to use if you don't know what you're doing. So his direction plus triangle. In English, it is called first T, and in Japanese, I believe it's Kuchikiri. So again, this is another Sabisuke one. Basically, triangle, this is where he moves forward. It's just where he kind of wiggles. I use this all the time for him because it's just a quick dash move where you can just slash enemies quickly. I use this for him all the time. This is one move I constantly use. It's just moving forward with a triangle, with the joystick, and then hitting triangle, and that's really all that is. Onto his R1, it's called Great Gathering, or Ooyose. So this is another Wabisuke move. So I'm playing as Sabisuke personality, so basically he's like, woo, circles. Okay, let me see if I can get the personality to change here. There we go. Wait, yeah. So hitting square causes him to change. So basically, if you want to be Sabisuke with the hair down, go forward triangle. If you want to be Wabisuke with the hair up, just hit square. and he covers it. Now we're Wabisuke. So R1, again, it's still a Wabisuke thing, even though I'm Sabisuke. Basically, he draws enemies in. Because normally when he crosses the fans in front of him like that, it would grab enemies and they'd be floating in the air. Again, I can't really show it because I'm out of bounds, so when I get back onto the stage, maybe I can mess around with some of the moves I can't show and show you what they look like. As for the L1 plush triangle, so it's called Spinning Disruption. It's one I was just using earlier. It is usable in midair. It is called Chachakuru. So we go. So L1 plush triangle. If you keep tapping it though, he gets faster. If you just keep tapping the triangle button, he can do it for longer. You have to hold down L1 and triangle and keep tapping triangle to get him to go longer. Normally if you just hit it once, he cancels it right away. But if you hold it down and then keep tapping the triangle button, he can go longer. Again, you can also use this move in midair. You can see here. It is usable in midair and he slowly comes down and you can just keep doing it. And see, now I'm already on the ground and you can just mash this and go full insane with it. It's actually really fun to look at depending on what fan you have for him. It's like a little like, they almost look like eyes, don't they, the fans? Like the black part, it would be like the pupil and the colored part would be the iris. It's fun to watch from a distance because it's like this bunch of stuff just going around him and it's like, woo! Okay, yeah. So that's what that one does and it is usable in midair because some characters' attacks that are not usable in midair, especially the L1 plus triangles. Not everyone's is usable, especially somebody like Tsuruhime's Harnairu Terisen. I believe that is not usable in midair. It's where she does a backflip and pulls back on her bow. She can do the backflip animation, but she can't finish it because she's in midair, and she has to be on ground to be able to put the bow in front of her and pull back on it with her whole full body weight. So it tells you that you can use it in midair, but you cannot. Some characters cannot use L1 plus triangles in midair. Even if it says you can, you can't. Anyway, I believe I have all of his in order. I like this one the most, so normally I would set it first, but I think I defaulted it for this reason. So moving on to his odd shoes. So I believe the first one is called 1,000 Fans. It's called Sensu. Basically, he shoots a wave of fans in front of him. Kind of looks something like this. You have to hold it down though. If you hold it down, you can move with the joystick to aim where you want to be hit, and he can hold this for a long time. It's really weird because if you just push it once, he'll just launches it quickly and then let's go. So if you want someone to get out of your face, you'll be like, yo, back up. I got fan powers. But if you really want to be super aggressive with it, if you hold R2 down, you can actually move from the left to the right, up a little bit, and then down a little bit. He doesn't actually turn all the way around. He only has a set radius, but it's kind of effective. It's like a cheap move, like, back up, yo, I got fan psychical powers, I'm a freak. I like it, but it kind of looks really ridiculous all the same. On to the next one. It's called Outdoor Tea Ceremony, or Nodate. This is another Wabisuke move. I can't really show it correctly, but he kind of goes down. If you push it, he'll go down. He'll launch a thing in front of him, like a circle. Kind of looks like a sun in the water. Basically what that does is he goes down. If you capture somebody, it will slowly engulf them in like a clear white yellow bubble. And as the person is lifting, Sen will be sitting on like a tatami mat and he will be literally drinking tea. That's why it's called Outdoor Tea Ceremony. So when he goes down like this and he captures an enemy and it captures them in a bubble, he'll start drinking a cup of tea, and then when he finishes the tea and he puts it down and he kind of bows forward, the bubble would explode with whoever is inside and they will take great damage, depending. So his third one is called Tea Ceremony Repass. This is a Sabisuke mode. So basically it's called Kaiseki. He goes up into the air. So if you hold it down, he kind of draws the rocks at him, and if you can shoot them. However, if you just push it once, push R2 once, he'll come back down, but the rocks will stay floated, levitated by his mystical powers. They will also move with you, and I believe as you're attacking, they will fly around to try to mimic your moves. You can send them forward at people. This is just me tapping the score button here. So based on how he is moving, He's basically commanding the rocks. You can move them forward, you can move them to the left, to the right. You can do a whole dance, all right. And then you can shove them forward and into the water, and they only last for a set amount of time. So if you push it once, he'll come back down, and they will stay floating in front of you. However, if you hold down R2, hold it down, he will shoot the rocks at people. Or if you want him to shoot them automatically, hold down R2 and then he'll finish it completely. If you hold it down, he'll send them at them immediately. However, if you just push it once, he'll come back down, they'll stay levitated, so you can just like attack with them randomly and do a bunch of fancy stuff. And then if you decide that you're done with that and you don't want to keep being a rock commander anymore, you can then hit R1, R2 again, and he will go up and throw the rocks and get rid of them. So it's really based on you if you want to do it. I think having the rocks accompany you is more devastating to enemies, because you could just throw huge heaps of rock in their face and just be dancing in place like you don't even care. And it's funny. It's funny to me. Anyway, so let me get back up onto a stage. One other thing about him compared to other characters, if you jump and then hold down the X button, he glides for a little bit. And he glides forever, but he slowly descends over time, so it's not like a forever constant thing. As you can see here, he gets high a little bit, and I'm holding it down. You can also kind of turn him a little bit and fly around. But he comes down over time, like he's losing altitude. He's one of the only few characters that can do this. Another character that can kind of do that is like Kotaro, but he comes down immediately after. He only ever stays airborne for what feels like 2 or 3 seconds. As where Sen will stay airborne for a great amount of time, but he slowly comes down over time. So you got to be careful with that. So some of these moves that I couldn't show before, I can go ahead and show now. So this is the second R2 attack. So as you see here, whoever enemies that are nearby will be forced to kind of kneel, and he'll drink the tea, and then they'll explode, and then he'll get back up. So that was one I couldn't show. So that was the second one. That's no date. As for some of the other ones, this is his first one. Again, I had already showed it before, so you can see the radius. I can hit people around me. And the third one is just devastating all around, really. I can just throw heaps of rocks in people's faces. Even with the triangle button as well, they will spin around you faster because you move more faster, and they move with you. So hitting just square normally will cause the rocks to spin around here and there and stuff like that. And triangle causes them to spin around you more faster. Again, since there's 4 of them, it can be sometimes hard to fit them all on screen. You will kind of lose track of them over time. So just be careful with that, depending. But they don't last forever either. Eventually they fade as well. Haruhisa Amago. I actually liked him in Samurai Heroes, the English one. I think he was voiced by the same guy who had voiced Jiraiya in Naruto. I actually liked that guy as a voice actor. His voice was really good. So that's probably why I liked Haruhisa, because I believe he was voiced by that guy. If not, he was voiced by a guy who sounds like that. So now for the solo Basara, so I can show what that looks like. So solo Basara, he will switch between Wabisuke and Sabisuke personalities randomly. And this is basically what the whole thing looks like here. So this is what solo looks like. So like I said, there really is nothing else for me to say about him as a character. He is fun to use. I really don't have anything negative to say about him at all. Really, I don't. I thought I had lost Chicago for a second. Shoot the arrows at me, spin your powers, I see. Again, this is what his Giga Basara looks like. I don't think I showed it at the beginning. So he's called a Tea Saint, which will appear on the left, and his image is both of his personalities surrounded by morning glories. So that's what it looks like. I forgot I didn't really show that. I thought I did. Yeah. Wow, did he not care. Gotta be careful. I have this on heaven difficulty, so that's why I got insta-killed right away. But Keiji finished it, so woo! Yeah, I gotta be careful with that. So basically, that's really everything I can show for Sen. That's what his animation looks like when you revive him when he dies. And then his taunt is just him having a mental breakdown. I forgot every character has a taunt, and I forgot to show. I think it was Yukimura's. I had did his. Basically, Yukimura's is where he kind of like looks like he's doing squats. He goes up and down like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, I forgot to show that. Every character has a taunt if you hit your options button. If you're playing on the PS4 like I am, if you hit options, every character has a taunt. And I believe on the PS3 version it was the select button. So that's really all I can show you for him. I think the only thing I have to really do now is go through and translate his weapons. I believe I have all of them unlocked for him. I'm pretty sure I do anyway. Again, Sen's actually a really fun character to play as. Though, again, as I said, he does have 2 different personalities. But as the character, he's just called Sen No Rikyu, even though both of his personalities are the gentle one with the hair up that makes him look like Liu Shan to me, or reminds me of Liu Shan, rather, not that he looks like him. That is Wabisuke. Sabisuke is the one with the hair down. That's more violent. And that's what they're called, even though I guess when they're fused together, it's called Sen No Rikyu. Some people might get confused with what I literally just said. Don't worry, it's confusing to me too. So this weapon that I'm using is called Kujaku, which means peacock. Kind of reminds me of Tenku Kujaku, would it be playing Neo here? Anyway, this is what the weapon looks like. Again, I'm using I think this is his alternate outfit. His Tenka metal outfit, unfortunately, I never bought it. It's basically this outfit, but the colors are different. It's like brown and white. And I didn't really care for his default outfit. Like, the design was really weird to me, and it looks like he's being squeezed to death. Like, look at my barrel corset. Oh, yeah. Girls like this. I personally liked his alternate outfit. It was more warrior-ish and was more fitting for him. I overall liked the design a lot better. To be all honest, I feel like his default outfit is kind of hideous. I don't like it at all. So I stick with the alternate outfit, which was way more better in terms of design. Many people can disagree with that. It's up to you. So this is his default weapon. His default weapon is called Kotan, which means simple refinement. Again, I have his element equipped on his weapon, so that's why they're kind of glowing with like pink, blue, and purple auras, because his element is Kan, which is feeling. And it causes them to glow automatically. I believe I have his element on almost all of the weapons, but on his default weapon I have it, so. I believe I don't have these in order, do I? I think this one here is supposed to be his joke weapon. It's called Butatama, which is pork and egg. Personally, to me, this does not look like pork and eggs. I guess I could see that's supposed to be the egg. I can kind of see it now. But I used to think that it was pizza, because of the part that he's holding that looks like a scoop. Where I'm from, we have these giant metal things like that we can scoop to get pizzas out of ovens. Even like places like Little Caesars and shit like that, they use those, like giant spatulas. And I used to think that was pizza. But it turns out it's actually supposed to be egg. It even kind of smokes a little bit like it's grilling. So that's already super insane, I'll tell you what. Moving on. So this one here, I believe I'm looking for a little flower symbol. So this one here is called Suno Hangetsu, which is horned half moons. You can see where it gets its name, because literally it's a fan with spikes, so, and it does look like a half moon, so it's called horned half moon, which is Suno Hangetsu. So that's fantastic. This one here is his gold version, so this is called Simple Refinement Gold. It's basically his default weapon. It's just gold. There really is nothing else I can say about that, honestly. Gold weapons are as they are. This one here, I believe, is called Yatsusude. I don't really know what else to... It doesn't have an English translation. It kind of has like bird feathers on it. It's actually really pretty. Like on one side it's like gold and black, and on the other side it's kind of like black and blue. Like with red too a little bit. So yeah, because on one side it's gold, the plate in the middle, and then in the back it's red. So it's red with blue and black, and then black with gold on the other side. It's cool. I've never really focused on this weapon much. I can't really comment on it because I've never used it before, but I do have it. Yeah, and there's not a translation. It's just Yatsude. So it's Yatsude. So it could be, yeah, I think it's Yatsude. And the other one is Simple Refinement Unsigned. So again, it's just his default weapon with more fancier colors on it. It looks like it's shaded between gold and like maybe red. I can't see the other color. Gold, maybe red and white. And then on the back, it's more like green with black. Kind of like a cucumberish color. So those are all of his weapons. The one I'm using right now is Kujaku, the peacock one. I like this one a lot more simply because I like blue and purple as colors, and I like the tassels on it, and it was more fancier because it's like blue and purple on one side and then kind of like more reddish purple, even though that's his con colors, because I have his element, which is con feeling, which goes between being black and red and blue and purple. But yeah, I liked it a lot more. The fans, they were more appealing to me, and that's why I use them as weapons for him constantly. So that's really all I can show you and tell you about Sen No Rikyu. He does have two different personalities, and it can be complicated to use him because like trying to get the personalities to switch is really tough. Like I said though, if you want to be Sabisuke with the hair down, just use his forward triangle move. So just move forward with the joystick and then hit triangle, which will cause him to spin. That'll automatically put him into his Sabisuke personality. If you want to be Wabisuke with the hair up, which is what this is right now, basically I found out by just hitting the square button will cause him to switch. Like he'll kind of like move the fans in front of his face and do like a little twirl to simulate that he has switched personalities. But he is one of those characters where his moveset is kind of different. Because you have one moveset for Wabisuke and then another moveset for Sabisuke. So based on what personality you currently have him in, the attacks will change. Like I said, that can be confusing as well. It really actually isn't. But trying to get the personalities to switch to get the move that you do want, now that's confusing. And it can be hard too. Again, he is a fun character to use. I've always actually liked him. I never really had anything negative to say about him. His moveset's really fun to me. And he's overall like one of those characters that are like fleeting. Like kind of there but not there. That's why I said he kind of reminded me of Liu Shan a little bit. Because Liu Shan is actually really smart and is a capable fighter. But he acts like he isn't. If you've ever played the Dynasty Warriors series, sometimes Liu Shan will be like, oh dear, I've wandered onto the battlefield and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like he acts like he's like he needs help, like he's an invalid, like he's like an idiot, like I don't know what I'm doing here, but he actually really does know. He just feigns ignorance. He feigns that he doesn't know anything, but he's actually really smart and can fight. He just acts like he can't. And I kind of like that personality. It's funny. I've always liked Liu Shan as well, though I get criticized every time I say that. Some people are like, you can't be serious, but I am serious. I am serious. But again, I guess thanks for watching if you did. I'm Sovereign Sage. Again, that's really all I can show you about him. I might have to put that down, make a note saying that he has two different personalities. I'll be like, Wabisuke is the hair up, Sabisuke is hair down, so that I can maybe help you see which one it is. It's actually really self-explanatory, and I kind of like the way that they did do that. They gave him a hair change so you could tell which personality he was based on his hair, and that's actually neat. Normally other games will like change the eye color, like, oh, if it's red they're this, but if it's purple they're this, like, but I like the fact that you can tell based on his hair. It's very easy. It's really easily noticeable, obviously. You could tell if this character who appears to have short hair suddenly has long hair. You're like, what the hell? But he is fun to use. Again, that's really all I can say for him. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe not. He's not really hard of a character to play as, in my opinion. He's actually fairly easy. Um, I also like his interactions between him and Ashikaga or a few of the other characters. He has like some unique cutscenes between them. That's really all I can say. I don't have his Tenka Metal outfit, unfortunately. I just never cared to buy it. Like, what the hell? I can probably show it to you here. So this is what his Tenka Metal outfit looks like. It's just his default outfit with just white and brown with purple, compared to his default outfit, which was more whitish green and red. I don't really care for that outfit, which is why I did not buy it for him, but I'm going to just show you that's what it looks like if you are interested in that. I don't got his personal inscription, unfortunately. Again, it's called Vessel Strength. I already kind of basically explained what it does. I can tell you again. So basically the number of enemies that can be drawn in is doubled. His range becomes wider. And for every character that is locked on, they get a plus hit to head count. A +2 hit count for every character that is locked on. They get like, it gives you 2 hits per character that you have locked on. So you can just gain hits like a psycho. That's really all it does. I don't have his personal inscription, unfortunately, but that's what it does there, in case you are interested in it. I also have done personal inscription translation videos. I currently have 2 videos. I did one 9 months ago, and then I did one 4 days ago. So it's kind of weird that I did that video twice. It's mainly because I didn't realize that I had already did a video like that, and I had already did, and I didn't realize I did. So now I have it twice. Fantastic. But again, that's really all I can say for him. He is a fun character to use. I actually really like him a lot. I have nothing negative to say about him at all. He is one of my favorites. So, I don't know if he's one of your favorites, but in case he is or he isn't, now you kind of have an idea of what his moves are like, what they're called, and the fact that he has a anti-personality disorder, I guess. Then again, I shouldn't really make a deal about that since I kind of do too. But anyway, thanks for watching if you did.